So, Queen of the Dreadzone, Chloe's grand return to Paris, that pretty much most of us saw coming when we saw the title. And oh boy, do I have a lot to talk about here. So let's just get started. So the episode starts with Lila watching Chloe's live stream, telling her followers she's returning to Paris for her first upcoming movie she's producing. And as Lila watches, she was already preparing her Ultra Kuma, putting it in a gift box only she can open remotely. And as she de-transforms, we see how whenever she's Chrysalis, she's twice her normal size. So that is an extra feature of the Butterfly Miraculous. Also, we actually see a bit more of her lair than just her desk, chair, and stacks of journals everywhere. We see her wig station along with a clothes rack. Then she puts on a blonde wig and goes to get stamps to put on the gift box to send to Chloe. Remember that stamp for later. Then getting on a plane while still watching her live stream. And we'll find out where Lila goes when we get to the pre-credit scene. And we'll also talk about the whole being out of range for akumatization thing when we actually get to it. So after the intro, we see Adrian walking downstairs seeing a giant poster of Chloe outside the window. And so is everyone else in Paris, ranging from surprised to angry to annoyed to absolutely frozen with traumatizing fear like Marinette. Also, there is no way this would fly legally, both literally and figuratively, right? Considering what this girl has done in the past. Also, Chloe sure had the balls to step foot in Paris, considering not only is her father Andre not the mayor anymore, so he can't bail her out of any situation, but what did Lila say to Chloe in collusion again?
With this confession, your father may not be the mayor for much longer, and if he's no longer able to protect you, what will happen when you have to answer to all the people you've hurt?
So yeah, she shouldn't be anywhere near the school, or Paris in general. Anyway, later at the school, Adrianette was walking by, seeing their friends and a whole horde of Chloe's fans right behind them. And again, come on, there's no way Chloe has this many fans even if she's producing a movie. Did they all just collectively forget what Chloe did a few months ago? Not only starting a coup, putting everyone who defied her in detention prison, not only causing most of the akumatizations while willingly getting akumatized multiple times, working with Hawkmoth, a known supervillain, not only bullying Marinette and her friends for years, as well as anyone else who crossed her path, but somehow has an in-universe fanbase for her. And sure, maybe they're like Sublime who moved to Paris recently and don't know who Chloe is or what she did, but I'm still calling bullshit since this new school year just started, and Chloe's takeover in Collusion and Revolution was months ago before the summer break. Anyway, the others explain to Sublime who Chloe is, and that after the events of Revolution, she fled to London with her mom. Then Sublime asks a good question of why the adults didn't take care of Chloe, and Alia says even they were afraid of her since she was the mayor's daughter at the time. Then Adrian reassures Marinette that there's nothing Chloe can do to them anymore, with Marinette panicking thinking Chloe is back for revenge, with Sabrina being the only one saying maybe Chloe's changed because of a letter she supposedly got from her, which we all know actually came from Lila, just like the love letter Lila wrote to Max. Also, wait a minute, speaking of letters, you don't think Lila was the one who forged Gabe's revenge letter and put it in Adrian's photo album, do you? Because then I would have so many questions. Also, I thought Sabrina already knew Chloe was shitty in Daddy Cop when Bark straight up told her Chloe wasn't a good person, and that she made fun of Sabrina's hair in Gren diaper. She can't have honestly missed Chloe that much, right? I mean, her and Lila shoved Sabrina in a closet and forced her to rewrite everyone's orientation forms in confrontation. That's crossing like so many ethical lines. But anyway, everyone obviously thinks that forgiveness letter is a trap, with Alia doing an impression of Chloe which did make me laugh. Then they all see Chloe's helicopter arrive, as inside she was reading fan mail getting to Lila's diamond box, with the Ultra Kuma inside. But unfortunately it's locked so Chloe can't open it yet, and Chloe gets off the chopper waving to her crazed fans, as Lila on her plane was still watching Chloe's livestream, while the others watch Chloe go into the school, with Sabrina wanting to go inside with Marinette stopping her, asking does she really believe what Chloe supposedly wrote in that letter, with Sabrina actually saying no but wants to make sure it's from Chloe. Then as Sabrina walks away, we see her still having the designer pin Chloe got her back in Antibug in season 1, and we see a flashback of Sabrina receiving the letter from supposedly Chloe thinking she truly has changed. Then she goes to one of the guards outside the school saying she's Chloe's best friend, with the guard saying Chloe doesn't have any friends just like the doorman said to Marinette back in Princess Fragrance.
We're BFFs.
Aha! Chloe doesn't have any friends.
still not letting Sabrina in until Marinette and Zoe go to her, with Zoe saying she's Chloe's sister and wants to see her, and that causes the guard to radio it in. Inside the school, Chloe was still trying to pry open Lila's diamond box, then seeing the giant tree in the courtyard wanting it chopped down, and we see Audrey and Noe, with him encouraging Chloe to chop it down, stroking her ego. And wait, I just noticed something. Why isn't Andre in this episode since this is about Chloe and the bourgeois family? You'd think he'd be in it, but he isn't. Not a single mention. That's so strange. Also, I was expecting any reaction from Chloe that she has a brother. Remember how she reacted when she saw Zoe for the first time? I was expecting a similar reaction here. Anyway, one of Chloe's assistants says Zoe has come to see her along with Marinette and Sabrina, with Chloe already concocting a plan to humiliate them by shooting tennis balls at them while they're tied to a tree, with Chloe wanting them to come in and Audrey trying to reject it, but Noe encourages this, saying this won't change their plans. And it will earn Chloe more fans, and soon she'll become the world's #1 influencer, with Audrey relieved that Chloe is finally serving a purpose. And then Noe says, and I quote, "Chloe is such a characteral character that she manages to make people forget how unacceptable her actions are." And really? In this city, where she is renowned for being the worst? For again, starting a coup and knowingly working with a known supervillain months ago? Anyway, Noe says with Chloe they can make evil aspirational, becoming the new trend, with Audrey agreeing. So wait, is this kingdom business or personal business? I'm gonna assume it's kingdom biz to brainwash the masses or something. There's gotta be a darker meaning here. Meanwhile, outside, the guard lets Zoe, Marinette, and Sabrina into the school, with Sabrina thinking Chloe has changed and Marinette saying if she hasn't, the three of them will face her together. And then they come face to face with Chloe, with Marinette noticing Noe, Audrey, and the tennis ball launcher, while standing on a red X on the ground Chloe drew with chalk. Then she orders her guards to shoot nets at them, with the girls backing up, causing the nets to miss, with Zoe asking what she was planning to do with them, with Chloe telling them about her tennis ball plan from earlier, and Marinette pretty much saying "I told you so" to Sabrina, that Chloe hasn't changed at all, with Sabrina bringing up the forgiveness letter, with Chloe laughing, obviously not knowing what she's talking about, with Marinette thinking she probably had one of her assistants write it, saying Chloe should be ashamed of herself for being so cruel, with Chloe again not knowing where the letter came from and ripping it in front of them, with Lila silently urging Chloe to get angry enough to get akumatized. Then Sabrina actually says thank you to Chloe for confirming her suspicions that she hasn't changed, and her, Zoe, and Marinette start to walk away, with Chloe raving empty threats at them, starting to lose it that they're defying her instead of being scared of her like in the past. Then surprisingly, Marinette starts to laugh. Rather sinisterly, by the way, saying that earlier when she saw that Chloe was back, she remembered all those years of bullying. But hearing Chloe's nonsense now, she doesn't know how she could ever be afraid of her, saying that Chloe is the one who's ridiculous, utterly ridiculous, and they walk out. With Lila, after watching the whole thing, opens the diamond box remotely, releasing the Ultra Kuma, causing Chloe to become akumatized. And actually, she doesn't even need Lila to stroke her ego to accept the power, because through her own anger and talking to herself for 20 seconds, yes, I counted it, Chloe not only accepts the power but chooses her own name, because now they'll fear the Dread Queen. Wait, so Lila can akumatize someone when she's detransformed like in Vampagami, but during that she was physically there talking to Prem, while simultaneously watching the bathroom camera she installed, waiting for Marinette to go in there. So, what are the rules, damn it? Anyway, we see Chloe's akumatized design this time, and yep, she's still holding on to the Queen Bee baggage. Also, her hair looks like Chrysalis's hair. That can't be a coincidence. Also, her power seems to be causing people to fear her with dread if they're close to her. And if I was to make a tier list of Chloe's akumatized forms, it would go like this. Antibug is trash, going in F tier, since for some reason she has a time limit for her powers like Ladybug does. Queen Wasp is B tier, with the akumatization of the bee Miraculous. Chloe controls a swarm of wasps that paralyze her victims. Miracle Queen goes in A tier. Sure, she has the same power as Queen Wasp, but she can actually control her stung victims instead of just paralyzing them. Queen Banana goes in B tier. She may not be as powerful, but she does have a lot at her disposal. She has a gun that can turn anyone into a banana, she has a flying car that can shoot bananas, and has a Centimonster helper that can do all of the above. Penalteam goes in A tier. She can make clones of herself, and anyone she touches with her feet gets trapped in a shield bubble in the sky as it slowly shrinks. Soul Destroyer is C tier, able to turn anyone into singing shoes with her feet. That's it. Queen Mayor is immediate S tier, since Monarch gave her police robots 5 miraculous powers: the horse for portals, the ox for invulnerability, the rooster to have any power, but in this case invisibility, the bee for paralyzing, and the turtle for keeping victims shielded. And lastly, Dread Queen Chloe is A tier, since anyone that gets close to her gets scared easily. Perfect for getting the miraculous. Anyway, that's my quick little tier list. Now back to the episode. Dread Queen Chloe throws a top on the ground, causing a giant bubble to form around Paris. And as Chloe inches closer to Marinette, Zoe, and Sabrina, they start to fear her. Then they split up, running off, with Chloe obviously deciding to go after Marinette, because of course she does. Then after we see Adrien transform, we get to this scene.
Marinette! Oh, tu te caches la boulangère.
So a couple things wrong with this. If Chloe was hot on Marinette's trail since we saw the yellow glow on the ground, how did she not see Marinette go into the alley? Why didn't Chloe look behind the trash can even though there's no other place Marinette can go? The only reason Marinette survives here is because the script says so. Also, I know Lila is way out of range and can't communicate with Chloe to guide her because the Butterfly Miraculous has a citywide range limit, so the user can communicate with its victims. But why can Lila communicate with a Fairy Goodnight who is on the moon and should be way the hell out of range, but can't communicate with Chloe who is in Paris and still on the planet? I've never seen an akumatized villain this bad this season. Okay, that's a lie. But anyway, with Chloe gone, Marinette, still afraid, transforms into Ladybug. Meanwhile, as Chloe was looking for Marinette, Cat Noir finds her and tries to fight. But as he gets close to attack her, he starts to feel the dread getting scared of her, with her about to take his Miraculous until Ladybug swoops in and saves him, saying they can take Chloe down together. As Chloe lands in front of them, inching closer, they both start to feel the dread, but not scared enough to give her their Miraculous as they manage to get away. With Chloe hot on their trail, they get to the edge of the bubble and Cat Noir can't even cataclysm it, with Chloe finding them again and Lady Noir shaking in fear. And Ladybug, this is the part where you page literally to come help deal with Chloe, but her and Cat Noir decide to swing away again. I guess she only reserves everyone for finale purposes or bigger threats, which is kind of funny when you think about it, since I guess Chloe, who created the shield dome around Paris to keep everyone in, isn't that big of a threat. But Sleeping Siren, who flooded the whole city perfect chaos style, is enough to call in the whole team. Then Chloe decides to give up chasing them to go hunt for Marinette again, with Lady Noir starting to feel better now that Chloe is gone, discovering that's her power. They fear her when she's close, but not when she's far away. Then Ladybug summons a Lucky Charm cable tie and pages Zoe and Sabrina, with them both getting the call to transform into Vesperia and Miss Hound. It may not be everyone, but that's a good enough cavalry. Anyway, Chloe makes it to the bakery roof, discovering Marinette isn't there, thinking she's hiding, with Vesperia arriving, absolutely rage-baiting Chloe that she's the real holder of the Bee Miraculous, not her anymore, and I can already hear the Chloe apologists rising up. Then Chloe decides to go after Vesperia, and during the rooftop chase, for some reason Zoe pulls a Marinette, going down into the alley with no exit.
Ugh, Zoe.
I love you, girl, but that was really stupid. Then Chloe inches closer, causing Vesperia to feel the dread as well. Also, I heard some people using this as an excuse to demonize Zoe that she didn't fight back against Chloe. So I'd like to remind everyone that Chloe's akumatized power is to literally make other people fear her, meaning Zoe physically couldn't get anywhere near her regardless. But anyway, Chloe almost takes the Bee Miraculous until Ladybug, Cat Noir, and Miss Hound show up, firing Miss Hound's ball at Chloe's akumatized top, retrieving it, with Cat Noir cataclysming it, turning Chloe back to normal, with Ladybug purifying the Akuma and casting the Miraculous, Ladybug reversing the damage. After the fight, Chloe was still angry and Ladybug tries to give her the magical charm, but Chloe slaps her hand away, saying she doesn't want it and is still going to shoot her movie in the school. But Miss Bustier and Officer Roger somehow find them, saying that's not gonna happen, since the requested permits of Noe didn't mention her shooting at the school school, which render the contract null and void, meaning Chloe can't do a damn thing, and has no power here anymore. So wait, where was the movie supposed to be filmed if not at the school? Was there a plan for this? Anyway, with Bustier as the mayor, she'll never let Chloe turn the city upside down again, with Roger saying she has to remove her crew from the school, and Chloe walks off, with Ladybug slipping the magical charm in her bag, with Miss Hound wondering why she gave it to her even though she doesn't want it, with Ladybug saying so Chloe remembers that if she ever tries to terrorize people again, it'll end up like it did today, and they ended off with a fist bump. Later on the golden private jet, Chloe looks through her bag seeing the magical charm, telling her assistant to throw it out, but not without Noe asking to see it and receiving it. So was this his plan the whole time? To get one of Ladybug's magical charms to analyze it like Gabe did? Or did he just get lucky? Either way, it's interesting and maybe it'll teach Ladybug to stop giving magical charms to potential villains. Since the last time someone got a hold of these, it ended up with the entire planet hunting her down. Anyway, back at the school, everyone was cleaning up Chloe's movie mess she made before leaving, with Sabrina throwing out Chloe's diamond brooch and telling Zoe why she thanked Chloe earlier, saying, since she saw Chloe being malicious one last time, it gave Sabrina the strength to finally get Chloe out of her heart for good. And now there's lots of room in it with her looking at Zoe. Ooh. Hashtag Zoe Brina and Vespihound. Then Marinette finds the letter Sabrina had about to throw it in the trash, and seeing the package box Lila put the diamond box in, noticing they have the same stamp. Meaning whoever sent the Ultra Kuma to Chloe is the one who sent the letter to Sabrina. Okay, bring back the sin counter, so a couple of things wrong with this. How did Marinette know that packaged box belonged to Chloe? Last time we saw that box, her assistant put the diamond box right next to it inside the school, and we don't see Marinette noticing it until now at the end. Also, how did she know the Ultra Kuma was inside that box? Hers, Sabrina's, and Zoe's backs were turned when Lila remotely released the Ultra Kuma. Also, Marinette noticing something's off was because of the stamps? Which means either Lila used that same stamp for Max's letter in A Fairy Goodnight 2, or she used a different stamp for that. Also times 3. Was Lila too powerful this season that they had to nerf her skills near the finale, with Marinette pulling a solution out of her ass to find this out? Anyway, Marinette thinks based on what happened today, she's afraid of what's gonna come next. And that's how the episode ends, end card and all. Then we get to the episode's pre-credit scene showing Lila was surprisingly going to Shanghai earlier. And we see Faye in the new animation style with Lila wanting to talk to the chef about how delicious the food is, with Faye wanting to introduce her to Uncle Wang, while also telling Lila he has family in France, with them walking by a picture of Marinette during her time in Shanghai, with Lila and Faye surprisingly getting along. And wait, did Lila travel all the way to Shanghai just to learn more about Marinette? Or... oh shit, is she gonna steal Faye's prodigious necklace? That's scary as hell, thinking what Lila combined with the butterfly Miraculous could do with the prodigious. But anyway, that's how the episode actually ends. Honestly, I prefer the Dirtifiers over this episode, which came out on the same day as this episode did. But those are just my opinions, you can tell me yours in the comments. Anyway, bye bye.
I see